My daughter has asked me for a special display shelf for her ever-growing doll collection here. Now, there are a number of ways that I could do this, but for this project, I'm going to take a very special approach. I'm going to be using the newest tool in my workshop, a 3D printer, this one from MakerBot. 3D printers like the one I'm going to use create objects by precisely depositing layers of melted plastic, one on top of another. In much the same way, this hot melt glue gun might add one layer of molten material on the layer below. Now this is the raw material that the 3D printer is going to be using. It's a plastic filament. The filament comes preloaded on spools in a wide variety of colors. The spool is set into the 3D printer, and the filament is fed through a guide and into the print head. I'm going online to a website called Thingiverse, where there are tens of thousands of designs that I can download, and I'm going to look through here and see what I can find in a shelf, a wall shelf. Ah, there's something. That looks very promising right there. Now that looks like it's made with the 3D printed end brackets and then wooden dowels for the actual shelf. So what I'm going to do now is download this design from the internet. Now I'm opening the MakerBot software and I'm importing that file that I downloaded from the internet, and you can see it here as I bring the brackets in. There's the first one, there's the left bracket right there. I'm going to set it on the build platform, and now I'll bring in the right bracket, set that on too. Now I can choose the view, whether I want to see this from the top or the front or side. So I'm going to take a look at it from the top to be sure that I've got these positioned where I want them on the build plates. I can move them around. Now I'm going to export that MakerBot file to a thumb drive, which I'll put in the computer here. There we go. I'm saving it on the thumb drive. Okay, now it's finished saving, so I'm going to remove the thumb drive. Take it over here and insert it into the 3D printer. Now I'll choose the print option from the printer menu, select the file, and tell the machine to begin printing. From here forward, the printer is pretty much on its own. In this case, it will need several hours to complete the project. In the meantime, I'm free to do something else. Here's the entire job from start to finish. When the print is complete, I lift it from the build platform and break off the raft, a plastic base that provides temporary support and helps ensure that the distance between the build platform and the nozzle remain consistent. Well, I've got my brackets. Now I'm going to spend a little bit of time cleaning these up and then start assembling the shelf. Any surface irregularities can be smoothed using medium grit sandpaper. 6 3/4-inch dowels will create the shelf surface. I'll want these cut to precisely the same length. Now there are a couple of ways to accomplish this. I can square the ends, tape the dowels into a bundle, then measure, mark, and cut them all at once. Or I can get the same result with my power miter saw by attaching a temporary stop and cutting each dowel individually. I'm going to test assemble the unit by first tapping the dowels into one bracket. Once they're all in place, I set the second bracket on top and gently tap it into position. Well, everything's looking good. Since my daughter has a definite color scheme going in her room, I disassemble the unit and spray the brackets and dowels using an aerosol paint that's labeled as plastic friendly. The brackets were printed with the mounting holes incorporated into the design. I'm going to attach the shelf using these flip-out wall anchors from Toggler. After I've marked the bracket location, it's a matter of drilling a 1/4-inch hole, inserting the anchor, and then driving in the screw. Well, the dolls seem to be happy with their new home, and my daughter is quite pleased with this decorative addition to her room, especially knowing how it was made. Using a different color scheme, the same shelf also works well in the dining room. In fact, even unfinished, it adds a nice decorative touch, in this case to the kitchen. Well, this may be one of my first 3D printed projects, but it won't be my last. There's an exciting future ahead for this technology, especially in home improvement.